But, man, for Milwaukee, this is the worst thing that could happen to you.
Well, first off, I hope that Giannis is okay, because Key, you and I both watch a lot of ball, a lot of football too, and whenever you see an injury like that, last night I literally stopped. I stopped and just held my own knee, just understanding how that and I hope it's just a hyperextension, but that looked bad. When you bring all your weight down on one leg like that, that just so first off, I hope that he's doing okay. I hope that he can recover, because this is a 2-time reigning MVP, and I know that we always get on the show and people debate about whether he's going to be other people's guys or not due to how he plays, but the dude is averaging 29 and 13, and he's putting up epic historic numbers in the playoffs. And now all these conversations that people have had about, Khris Middleton is the guy on this team. He's the closer down the stretch. Now I say, all right, now Khris Middleton, just similar to Kevin Durant, playing without Kyrie Irving and James Harden, similar to LeBron James, playing without Anthony Davis. Those are big names that had to carry and fill big shoes. Now we get a chance to see Khris Middleton, the opportunity for him to carry and fill the big shoes of Giannis, who's been the horse that they've rode throughout all games. Khris Middleton has been a guy that closes games. I get that. But now we have to see Khris Middleton be the horse that carries his team all throughout the game and also closes the game. And you need guys like Jrue Holiday, Bryn Forbes, other Bobby Portis, other guys to really step up and help carry that load as well.
Think about the names that you mentioned, though, Jay. No. Just think about the names, though, that you mentioned. You asking Khris Middleton to step into that Kevin Durant, LeBron James, guys that have essentially carried teams themselves before. It's very difficult to be pushed into a role that you're not accustomed to having. Those guys were frontline guys to start with. And when they lost their mate, they decided, okay, now I got to still be the frontline guy. Kevin Durant carried teams before on his back with just scraps around him. LeBron James, he's done that before. So I don't know that.
But, Key, we put that same kind of heat on Jokic. We put that same kind of heat on Jokic.
You and
Key,
NBA
we came
expert,
on our show, Alan Yates, everybody was like, all right, like, he's your MVP. Well, he has to carry a team now.
Khris Middleton
we've kept that pressure.
But Khris Middleton isn't your MVP. Khris Middleton, the team is supposed to be about the Joker because he's the MVP.
Right.
That's a different. We're talking about two different things now, Jay.
So can he do it? I guess that's the question, Jay. Is Middleton, because as you point out, and me and Keith talked about this. I looked this up. Like that 29 and 13 and 6. I don't think people grasp that because the only other player who's ever done this in NBA history in the playoffs is Oscar Robertson to average those kind of numbers.
Jay, and what I said to Brian is, you got to be able, much like you said, all the other little ancillary pieces around, they've got to now figure out how to get that 29, 10, 13, whatever it is. They got to figure out how to get that. Have they ever done that before? You're asking people to do things that they probably haven't done before collectively as a group, because Giannis has, for the most part, through 3.5 quarters, have been a guy for you. Except the last 7 minutes of a game where
I'm
it
with
goes
you,
to Middleton.
People were referring to what, and I didn't do this, but it's an interesting narrative. I didn't do this, but it's an interesting narrative, though, Key. People were saying that Milwaukee had a big three. Right?
Yep.
People were saying that Khris Middleton and Jrue Holiday were in that conversation to be a big three. So now when I see an unfortunate situation happen to Giannis, you hope that he's okay once again. But you still have big two of the big three.
Yeah,
you have Jrue Holiday that was brought there to be that dude, that dog, that great two-way guard down the stretch. And you have Khris Middleton. And some people were saying that Khris Middleton is the superstar on this team. And I've been trying to say the whole last couple of weeks, I'm like, look, man, Giannis is still the best player in the playoff series, in my opinion, because of the load he carries. He just gets glossed over, though. Like, people are like, oh, well, Khris Middleton's this guy. I'm like, hold on a second. Giannis is still the guy that's giving you 29 and 13, some games almost giving you a 40-point triple-double. He gave you 40 points in Game 7 in that closing against KD.
Let me see if I could equate Giannis to football.
Okay.
Jay watches it. You've covered it. Jay covers it as well. In football, right? You know how you look at a player and you go, man, he box scores. He really got off.
Yeah.
And you look at another guy box score that's on the same team, and his numbers may be a little less. The guy that's a little less is the one that's really the one. Just because the other dude's getting all the numbers, he's getting the numbers like Giannis in basketball for the first 3.5 quarters. He's getting you everything you want. No question about it. But it doesn't hurt you. And you're saying, well, how could it not? It's part of the score. It's part of the score. It's not the same. It's a guy who, in football, 2 or 3 touches, that's going to kill you. Just them 2 or 3 touches. Yeah. And you don't get that from Giannis at the end of games. You've gotten it at home from Khris Middleton. On the road, you don't get it from him. As we saw last night, he kind of struggled. In football, a receiver, for instance, can go a whole game and look a certain way. But when it matters most, he somehow hurts you. When that other receiver, everybody's like, oh, well, he the one. It's like, no, he ain't really the one, man. Y'all sleep. Yeah. Y'all looking at box scores and numbers and not what it is at that point in time on 3rd and 9. That hurts you. 3rd and 9 killed you. Not the 60-yard catch because the defense stopped him eventually. But on 3rd and 9, they couldn't stop that dude, you know? And so that's how I look at Giannis. I look at Giannis and say, well, he going to always get his numbers. But is he hurting my team? Is he really making us feel the pain in the end? And I just hadn't seen it. That's why I always, come playoff time, have been skeptical of him.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.